Ladies and gentlemen, back we are again. Midweek uranium update. Let's see where we are. I just did the uranium Australian only miners recap. That was a long word, a long sentence. Definitely go check that one out. Usually I do that on Mondays, but I wasn't able to, so now I did it today. Again, we're having that big pullback that we have been discussing were coming. No worries. Anyways, check it out if you are into those stocks like Banneran, Paladin Energy, all that good stuff. Lotus, Boss Energy as well. Yeah, as always, follow me on Twitter, follow me on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment, the good and the bad. I'll take it all. And yeah, let's get right into business. The URA, we don't look at any miners now. We do that in the weekends. And so we look at URA. Let's start with URA, weekly chart here. Now let's go to daily actually. I'll not give much history the time around. I think you know the breakout that we had and so on. So yeah, basically we found the top here at that high in the triangle. And as you can see here, before that we were in a lower high environment all the way down. And finally we have made a massive higher high, taking out three, even four previous, three previous lows, highs right there. That was the breakout. What's happening now is that infamous pullback that everyone is suddenly all bearish on uranium miners. And it were to be expected that we had the pullback. I called it a week before it actually happened. So I was prepared mentally for the correction or for the pullback. As you know, we made the higher high here, and now we're probably making some sort of lower, higher low here at some point. We're still in this uptrend parallel channel right there. Again, will it hold? I don't know, but we did find support very close to my $24 level. I wrote on Twitter, I think we'll find a bottom between 24 and 22. Why? The 24 is roughly here, these highs right there. That's the big $24 level. And the 22s is actually, a full retest of that green trend line coming down here. That would be the $22. A full retest of that in my worst case scenario, to remain in this bullish uptrend. Still very stretched from the 30 weekly. We have a big stretch right there, but it's coming up nicely. So this one should, at some point resolve to the upside. So the long-term trend is up. The weekly, we are in a stage 2 incline here after a long-term bullish consolidation. All good. As you know, I showed it in the previous video as well. Look at the pullbacks we had last time, 17%. Again, 17%, and a big one here, roughly 30. And now we're having the first one here, which right now is at roughly 13%. So I don't think we're done yet with the pullback. I will say this, we are making a hammer candle today on the daily. I will not give it much for now, but at least it's something good that we have found buyers at the $24 level. Hopefully it will keep doing that, and we hold that level. Very bullish. Uranium, or URNM, excuse me. Same thing, actually. We found some resistance here. We actually had a bit of a peak above here, but we did find resistance at that triangle high, the high here in that triangle. We're still going up here in my view. Look at the move we had here again. Major higher high, as you can see here, above 4 previous highs. And now we are looking for a bottom somewhere around here. Very stretched still from the 30 weekly. It needs some time to catch up. So I do think that we're going into November before we resume the uptrend really, or before we have put the bottom in place. That's my take. I'm happily wrong, right, if we get a snapback here, but I don't see that as a very high probability. I still think we have a month or so ahead of us with some bullish consolidation, hopefully. But as you know, my view, we're making a major higher high. The 30 weekly is coming up nicely, and we are probably making a higher low right in this vicinity. We will follow it. Let's look at the daily again. We are catching a bit here at the moving average. Bit of a doji hammer candle right there again. I will not put much into it, to be honest, because we have broken this wedge to the downside. I do think that we have some more downside. That's my thesis on it, and that's perfectly fine, perfectly healthy. I would much rather have that we just make a very big, nice bullish consolidation here, and then we go higher. Yeah, that's how I see it. URNJ, the juniors in the uranium space. Where will I be buying if I were to buy? I'm not saying that I am, but I'm just giving my take. If I were to be buying on this pullback, it would be right here at roughly 20, a tad below 20. Why? We have the highs here. If you go to the daily, you can see the importance of it. Let me just quickly align it perfectly. You can see here we tested it, bit of a pullback up again, retested that level. So this 19.5, let's call it $20 level has some significance to it. Plus, we're still in this green, beautiful uptrend parallel channel right there. So if we were to go all the way down here, actually it's only 10% away. I think that would be a double support of some kind if we go down here. And that should find some major buyers at that point in time. But let's see when we get there. Again, I do think that we are using the remaining of October to pull back and to go sideways. Yeah. Look at it here. This is the U.UN, the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust long term. It's still fantastic. Still nothing to worry about at all. Insane momentum behind the bullish trend here. Again, look at how stretched we are from the 30 weekly. Again, we started to call the pullback because we were getting so stretched here. You can see it here as well, here as well. So we are getting these air gaps below the 30 weekly moving average. And yeah, that screams for a pullback. I do think we have major support here at that high. We also have others from here. So we have a major zone here between 19 and 20. Funny enough, that was the previous major resistance. Now it's support. And I do think that we will find, in worst case, we will find support in this zone here. So we still, maybe we still have 10% to go on this pullback. Also want to show you that we found resistance exactly at the trend line connecting those two highs, and then we had the pullback here. So I do think we still have some more downwards to go. Hopefully we will make some sort of bullish flag here with 3 lower lows. That would be beautiful. And then we boom higher. The trend is up. Don't fight it. I mean, for now, it's still very much intact. When will I become very, very, very bearish on the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust? For me, it's quite easy. If we start to somehow lose, maybe we get a bounce here, and then we lose the 30 weekly, and then we crack down that one. Then the alarm bells should be ringing for every single one of us, and then maybe we are wrong altogether, or we may be having a major delay in uranium, but that will be a big blow, and that could take years to undo if we really get traction going. Right, that could take a very, very long time to undo all that technical damage. But for now, we are above a 30 weekly inclining moving average. We're above all major resistances. We have only this left here. We have taken, yeah, as mentioned, all the previous major resistance level at around that $20 level, and or Canadian pound, whatever, you know, but the $20 Canadian pound, whatever it is, and yeah, for now, still very much intact. And when and if we start to see it cracking down, I don't think we will. But again, the charts doesn't matter what we think. I will let you know that I'm getting a bit worried. I did say that 2 times in the bullish consolidation for uranium, like half a year ago, that it could be grim, but fortunately it broke to the upside. So I will try to do my most unbiased take on the markets. That's really what I hope that I'm doing. So yeah, big red day for XLE against the SPX today. I think oil is down 5%. So yeah, and I think we have made a pivot high right here. So let's see, as we talked about, this could be actually a head and shoulders topping pattern here. We have the neckline here, which is still intact. We have the uptrend, which is still intact. Hopefully we hold. I mean, you can still see here the 30 weekly is trying to curl up here, but it still need us to not start to break down here, because then it will move down again. So hopefully this golden trend line holds and we start to move our way up higher again. And this is the first pivot high after a stage 2 breakout attempt. And now we're going for that first pullback, which will confirm it, and then we hopefully go higher. I say hopefully because I don't know what will happen, but yeah, again, if and when we take out that level right here at 0.024, that's the big bottom confirmation in my view. And then we have major outperformance by the XLE against the SPX, and we have a big target. I have a big target roughly around here, that triangle breakdown trend line at 0.047. That's way in the future. So XLE against URNM is getting well, never mind really. We looked at this move here, and it's just following perfectly. We're finding some support here at that low, and but I do think, you know, the trend is set. You can see here outperformance by XLE, the third weekly coming up, and now it's coming to roll over again slowly and surely. URNM will outperform XLE over the next, at least the next 6 months, at least, maybe even longer, because I do think that we could have a chance to visit the peak lows here. Again, higher high, higher high, false breakout, and now you start to see lower highs, lower lows, and that's the definition of a downtrend. And below the third weekly declining moving average. URNM is definitely outperforming XLE at the moment, but again, nothing goes in a straight line. We will have weeks, months where XLE will outperform. So perfectly natural. URNM divided by the spot price for yeah, the uranium spot price, excuse me. I got a bit distracted there. Anyways, we are actually below our neckline here, the short-term neckline. Not ideal, I will say that, but still we are testing that long-term trend line here. Hopefully this is where we find the bottom. It would really sucks to see us if you start to go down here, getting below the 30 weekly again, back below, and then this is what that could be a false breakout. So yeah, hopefully the pullback will find the bottom very close to where we are right now. But yeah, definitely a big red weekly candle for now. Hopefully we can start to retrace up to that neckline for the next 2 trading days. That would be ideal, to be honest, making some sort of hammer again and then close way above that 30 weekly. But again, we don't know what happens. We have 2 trading days left before the week close, and we will definitely check in on that one at that moment in time. But this is a retest of that stage 2 breakout. So this really needs to hold, in my honest opinion. So yeah, as you know, as you also can see, we haven't made any higher highs yet, right? We have it all the way down here. So we haven't made any higher highs. So hopefully this is the higher low that we're looking at, the swing higher low, and then we make that higher high over the next in Q4 here in 2023. That would be ideal. It really would be ideal to see that. Let's wait and see. Again, URA divided by the spot price. Remember, URA is only 60-70% uranium miners, and we have a lot of solar into it. And solar is just getting crushed for the past 2 months. It has been killed while uranium has surged. Solar has been tanking. So it has pulled down URA quite heavily. So this doesn't look good at all. If you look at the URA, this is a false breakout for now, and we're actually making some lower lows in this ratio. Not ideal at all. This I can tell you. And yeah, hopefully we don't see it go further down. You can also see here, I added this one here. That is a support that needs to hold, and hopefully it will. But again, my most non-biased opinion here is, as you can see here, this is not ideal at all. It couldn't quite escape that rising wedge that we had there, and now we're going for a low again. But we are getting some bias at that lower support trend line. Hopefully we're still in the wedge here when we look at it a week and a week or 2 from now here. Don't start to crash down there. Wouldn't be nice to see at all. URA against the overall commodities. We had the major breakout here, nice, and then we are doing that pullback into that level, horizontal level here, and also the rising wedge. Hopefully we stay above that oops, we stay above that one. We're getting a bid here now. So we have made the higher high, beautiful. And hopefully we can make some sort of higher low right here above the 30 weekly, which is coming up. URA against the SPY. Obviously now that uranium is having got pulled back, you also see that in the ratio against most of the other things that it has outperformed. But again, quite similarly, we have made actually we have taken out 4 previous highs, higher lows, lower highs, excuse me, 4 previous lower highs with a higher low. So hopefully we make that lower high here, above the 30 weekly, still above the wedge, still all intact. Uranium long-term is setting up to outperform the SP 500. Now we're just in a shorter-term correction against the overall long-term uptrend. Nothing to worry about for now. URA against the Nasdaq. Quite similarly, you can see how important that level is. Right, we just tagged it and then we retraced. And again, if and when we break that level here, this zone, I would say, then you have a full outperformance by URA against the Nasdaq. And we're having that pullback. The 30 weekly is slowly starting to turn up now here again. So hopefully we make that higher low here. Maybe we go all the way down to the neckline, but hopefully right here we make that higher low, and we can finally complete that cup and handle. It's a bit skewed because this one's a bit steeper, I know, but still it is valid. And we want to get about that $0.002 level in this ratio. You can see here for the past 10 years, the Nasdaq has absolutely killed uranium, and hopefully this is the bottom high here, roughly. And if we can get into some fresh air, the confirmation of the bottom is in, and we are going way higher in this ratio. But until then, we are still struggling. As you can see, it's still massive resistance. Every single time we get there, it gets knocked back. So yeah, uranium against Bitcoin. Look at it here. We hit the long-term golden trend line, and what's happened? We got rejected again. Hopefully this is a minor one, and then we snap. We really want to stay here, and then the 30 weekly to start to curl up. That would be an ideal scenario. Again, the Nasdaq and Bitcoin are very much related. So hopefully we can start to outperform the Nasdaq, and then that would also be a given that we outperform Bitcoin, no matter what they say, the Bitcoiners actually. So yeah, Bitcoin is still in charge, but again, if we can get that break right here at some point in time, then it's a new paradigm shift, uranium outperforming Bitcoin for a longer period of time. You can see here, Bitcoin just, again, absolutely crushing, absolutely devastating uranium by, it says 100% because it has risen so much. So hopefully we can get some headwind and outperform the good old Bitcoin. Ah, yes, the uranium futures. Where did we go? Which we talked about. I thought that we're going to go to the Fukushima high, right there at roughly $73. And what did we do? We had a big short-term melt up. This is a very big move, an insanely big move, and we have getting some sellers in here at that $73 level. Were to be expected in my view, and I think we need to have a pause here because this major is so significant, both from a historic point of view and from a price chart point of view. So I do think that we will hopefully make some sort of big base here for the next quarter, maybe the next quarter. I think we hopefully get a big base right here before going higher. But again, it's a tiny market, so anything can happen. But this to me looks like an end of move type of price action right here. We need to rest here. I think that would be very healthy and nothing to worry about for the uranium spot price really. But again, compared to the Fukushima, the case for uranium is like 10 times better. Well, maybe 5-10 times better. And we need a lot more uranium compared to then. There is a lot less available. So we will see. I definitely think we will break it. But I do think that this is a big run up. We need a pause. We need to reset all the RSIs and all that good stuff. Let the moving averages catch up. You can see here again still, look at how stretched we are from the 30 weekly all the way down here. You can see every time we get stretched, we consolidate, and I think it's exactly what is going to happen again. As long as we hold, I will say, as long as we stay in the 60s, it's all good. That's my my take of this. As long as we stay in the 60s, it's very, very bullish. So I don't care actually what happens. I hope we do some sort of mega base right there. Okay, very short here. Gold and silver has been getting killed for the past week, as you may or may not know. And uranium hasn't done anything, but that means silver going down while uranium stays. That means uranium is outperforming silver, and it still does. And we could have a move. It's very nice to see. We could have a move here at some point where we reach that target up here from that long-term inverted head and shoulders here with the neckline at a roughly 3. We could go all the way up to roughly 9. Not in a straight line, obviously. I do think, again, this is a major neckline. Very, very well defined as well. I do think we will retest that. Boom. Meaning silver should get some bits again. It's getting killed right now, so it's quite strange to say, but I do think that we will get that test here. It could also mean that uranium is pulling back big time. But I do think it's the other way around. Maybe uranium pulls back and silver starts to gain, so you have that double whammy into that ratio. Same thing for gold. You know, uranium against gold. It's still looking nice. We broke the neckline here like a few weeks ago, back in September. It has been a one-way street ever since. We are getting stretched from the moving averages, and I think we could actually go all the way down and retest that again. Gold should have a bit, maybe uranium spot price falls a bit into the 60s. And you should have that retest here, and then we go higher once again. That would be very healthy, very bullish, nothing to worry about. So as long as we stay above, it's a big range above this blue neckline. It's all good in favor of the uranium spot price. So to sum up quickly, URA, the pullback is here. The first pullback after we have made a major higher high. We want to find a big higher low in the next weeks to come. So hopefully the overall markets will let us do that, because I think many people are calling for a big melt up, but also for a major crash. And it's very, I think October here will be very, very telling on where we go in the SPX and the Nasdaq. So, and again, if we have a major meltdown, nothing will be spared. Uranium will get hit very severely as well. So nothing will be spared in such a big scenario, just like in 2021, if we were to get, in 2020, where we also had a big meltdown. Everything just got sold off because people are going for liquidity. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. As always, leave a comment below. And if you have any suggestions, anything you want to say, I will answer. And have a great one, guys. Hopefully we get 2 green days here, and we have a decent weekly candle to show that there are buyers here at the $24 level for uranium, hopefully. Have a great one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. Cheers.